And good day, Facebook, wherever you are in the world. This is Be Live in 5, and this is the question and answer session with myself and Bridgetti. Hello, Bridgetti.
Good evening, Stephen, and good morning in some places of the world, and good afternoon in other places of the world. And Stephen, before we get started today,
Surely.
I'd like to pay tribute to all the victims of the disasters we've had. There's been Harvey, there's been Irma, there was an earthquake this morning in Mexico, and we've had other such incidents. And I wanted to just acknowledge those because those are people who is our audience. And there's also people that have been affected by these natural disasters who are fellow people who have been directly affected and are trying to deal with the situation as we speak. And I thought it may be we could just acknowledge them. We are thinking of them. And we will do what we can to support them from wherever we are in the different parts of the world.
I echo those words, and as Bridgetti said, if anybody needs anything, then just contact us. And probably the best place is in the Be Livers group. If you post in there, then if there's anything at all that we can do, I mean, we are in some ways fortunate to live where we do, and it's by accident rather than by design. So and we've got somebody saying they can't hear us. Just let me go. This is good. This is Adam saying he can't hear us. Let me go out and just check. Right. Okay. Right. Now I can hit. Just a minute. Hang on. Right. Okay. That we have to do this occasionally. Adam, can you refresh, please? We had this earlier in the afternoon, and tell us if you're on mobile or desktop. That would be useful. It's on my end. I can hear you on my phone. Okay. Right. Okay. And this is part of the joy of live broadcasting, that when things go wrong, it's not necessarily the system that's doing it. Well, it is the system in some ways because you're not getting the transmission properly. But we should take that and welcome. Now you can hear us, and we've just been saying, well, Bridgetti's been talking to people around the world, especially in the US and Mexico, and the Virgin Islands, and everybody in the Caribbean, that we're thinking of them. Right, now, this week, what we do each week is we have a look at what has been happening in Be Livers, and we make a list of the questions, and then we toss a coin. No, I'm not joking about that bit. We don't toss a coin. We go through the questions one by one. So, welcome to the show. If that's going to show, it's not. And I've broken it. Just a minute. Okay. This is Be Live in 5 question and answers with Bridgetti and myself. And the first question that came up this week was the Be Live Chrome extension, which occasionally misbehaves. In other words, the Chrome extension is used for screen shares, and when you go to share your screen, it asks you to install the extension. So you install the extension, and you can then screen share. Next time you come back, it asks you to install the extension, which is annoying. And we agree it's annoying, and we know that Be Live are actually working on it. But for the moment, if you do have that problem, if you go into your extensions and disable the extension and then re-enable it, refresh your screen, everything should be fine. It's a rare occurrence. I think it's mostly, I mean, Antonio said this is mostly when there are major Chrome upgrades.
It happens, you know, and it's great when people come and tell us these things, because then we are aware of it, and we can attend to it.
Yep, that's true. And I'm just going to close my extra window. Right, okay, so that's the first one. And the second one is somebody asked a question about logging in. Do you want to take this one? Bridgetti, I'll read it. Logging in uses my personal account and not my business page.
And that's 100% correct. Facebook will use your personal account. Everything is based on your personal account. We don't have that within our control. That is a Facebook thing. So even though you log in with your personal account, it gives you access to any and all Facebook pages and groups that you may have. So don't be concerned that you are required to sign in with your personal page. That's perfectly normal.
Right. And next question is one we've had before, but it's worth reiterating. And this was a new user, and they're asking, is using earphones better than not using one to avoid echo? We're both wearing earphones to avoid echo. There are people who can get away with not wearing earphones, but as a general principle, to avoid any feedback, if you are broadcasting with more, if it's just you on screen, then you don't need them. But I wear them by force of habit. But it is to stop any feedback on the system.
Well, and just to let people know who are brand new to live streaming and wondering about this, generally speaking, you've got an external, you may use the microphone on your headset, but most people who broadcast will have an external microphone like that, something similar. And what it means is if you're listening to the sound speakers, your speakers is going to capture that sound through your microphone, and it's going to cause feedback. So that's the reason you need to use earphones to hear the other person instead of not using them and then getting the echo.
And one is affecting us today, I think, and that's scheduled broadcasts. Now, I think we're invisible on Facebook. I don't think, apart from Adam, I don't think anybody else can see us. I mean, I shared this. I think no. I think it's part of. I'm just going to go into Facebook at the moment. It's part of the fact that if you do use scheduling, then nobody can see your scheduled post. It's most peculiar. I mean, at the moment we're talking about eight views of this broadcast, which is a low number, and we're live on my Facebook profile page. We're live in Be Livers. We're live on Be Live in 5. So it's a mystery, isn't it?
It is strange.
I mean, today was.
We are live.
Yeah, we're live. I mean, there's no doubt about that. As I say, we're live on Be Live in 5. We're live in Be Livers. We're live on our page now. I can't believe that. Well, I find it difficult to believe that we're being hidden because Adam found us. But certainly, scheduling and broadcast does have a major effect on the number of people who watch, as we shall prove when we don't schedule next week. The experiment is over. Nobody can see us, so we won't be scheduling next week. I mean, there are benefits to scheduling in that you can share out the post beforehand. You can tell people about it. But if they don't find you when you go live, then it's very difficult, isn't it?
It is, yes. I personally find it more practical to do a show card in advance so that people have a visual. But it definitely seems to be better to not schedule it. I don't understand it myself, but I do find the show card works well.
All right, I'm going to put it in writing and then. There's nobody watching us, so stopping scheduling live video. I want that put on the screen. Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, a couple of people. I've done this as a second schedule I've done today, and one was Ask Angelica, which is the German language program, and a few people saw that, but we did get interaction, and that was on Angelica's page and my page. But
right, you know what? I have a personal ask. I don't know whether anyone else has requested this before or whether
yeah,
you've heard anyone. But I think it would be rather nice, when you are co-producing with someone,
yeah,
which often happens, you don't want to be looking in a different direction as a co-presenter to follow comments on Facebook. It would be great if I could simply watch the screen and get more of a rundown, because sometimes it won't show you the entire comment made by the audience. It'll
yeah,
break it off if it's a
yeah,
large comment. So if you're co-presenting, it would be great for you to be able to see the running comments in
truly.
your vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, indeed, because there's a comment just made by Adam, and he got a notification when he signed, because he signed up for the reminder. So to that extent, it does work when you actually schedule. But at the moment, I know you've just commented, Adam, but it's not actually showing that you're live watching us. We've got a 0 in the top right-hand corner of our screens. Have we not?
It is weird, isn't it?
It's weird.
Yes.
It's
Very.
just. This is a weird experience. I mean,
And I know that Christine is probably watching us as well, because she said she wanted to watch. So there is some gremlin.
truly, there is something. I mean, basically, what I think is that when we look, we can see it. Anybody who signed up for a reminder like Adam did, and thank you for that, can see it. But to everybody else, the broadcast is just not showing. Yeah. So that's why people don't come in. What's happened? We've now got one. Yeah, it's just showing as this video is not playing, or whatever. Apart from the people who are on the screen at the moment, that's you and I and Adam, I don't think anybody else can see us. Most peculiar. It is a gremlin.
Although it is a gremlin. Oh well.
Play for the recording, shall we?
Counter.
We can do the same questions next week. We can just sort of, and we're playing for the record. And as we've said that,
Look, some people watch the replay, so.
Oh yeah, that's true. As we're going 14 minutes, in order to help Bridgetti and I, and Adam has commented, we can see that somebody else is watching now. If you could just say hello, then it would blow a hole in our theory. But other than that, we're on to our next point. And the next point, which I'll read out, is my audio and video are not syncing. And this is primarily on the recording, isn't it? Are there any things that we can do to prevent that?
To prevent audio and video not syncing?
I mean, I've noticed that if you use... Jan, welcome. You are most welcome. Thank you for commenting. This is Stephen and Bridgetti. We're from Be Live in 5, and we're talking about questions asked in the Be Livers group this week, and it's great to see you with us today. And we now believe, yeah, okay, it's fine for you. Good. And did you actually sign up for a notification, Jan, or did you just find us? If you could tell us where you're watching from, that would be absolutely brilliant in terms of doing some research on what's going on today. Yeah, I've noticed that if you use the mic on the PC itself, or the Mac, and an external camera, the two don't sync. So it's always best to use both an external mic and an external camera, not just from terms of quality, but in terms of syncing. In terms of syncing, you do want a USB mic, because that's the easiest way to get the sync right. Oh, we have another mystery here. Jan's saying that you came up on my feed, but I don't know how. Neither do we, Jan. Neither do we. This is real live video, and we're experimenting, and more people are joining us. And we're grateful for your input, because we've got this discussion going on, which Maury Smith has joined in on, as the benefits of going scheduled or not scheduled. And it's a continual discussion. Even the Be Live management are involved in this one, in terms of whether something's happening when you do schedule a show. We know that if you just go live, as Bridgetti does, you can use show cards in advance, but if you just go live, you can't promote it without show cards. So we're experimenting. But if you are the third person watching us, could you just say hello and say how you found us? This is ongoing research. As our question at the moment is, my audio and video are not syncing. Now, using an external mic and an external camera are the best way to do this. External camera, C920, about $60. External mic, about $25. And that's your setup. For $85, under $100, you've got professional, decent equipment, which will give you the picture quality and give you the sound quality as well. Right, okay, now, this is an interesting question, and I know who asked it.
Oh, do you?
I do. Can you give us some background on this?
So, you know, I understand that when someone, I had a conversation with someone recently. There's a difference between somebody going live on their feed, speak to their friends and just have a regular chit chat.
Yeah.
We do a broadcast, which is where you're wanting to share content and connect with your audience in a different way. Conversation. So when one is having a casual conversation, I feel that you could basically you're connecting with your friends. However, if you past in that one should get as webinar, or if you were doing an in-person, that would take of aspects, whoever they may be, suit up for the occasion, and you would dress appropriately, you would present yourself in a professional manner. And so my feeling is when you're doing a broadcast like we're doing now, present yourself in a manner that befits the broadcast.
Right.
Adam says my audio is fading.
It's coming in and out. I was going to wait until you actually finished.
I'm going to hop out and refresh.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, while Bridgetti does that, I'll go on to the next question. And
Okay.
It was asked in the group. I'm just waiting for Bridgetti to. Right. Okay. It was asked in the group, ending the broadcast. How do you end the broadcast? Well, I've got a button underneath which says end broadcast. Occasionally what people are actually doing is pressing the close the tab. Now, when you press the close the tab to stop the broadcast, it won't work, because you're not sending an instruction through to Facebook that the video has ended. And if you just close the tab, you could go back to the video, recorded video, on Facebook, and it will not have stopped. The only way you can end a broadcast properly is by pressing the end broadcast button underneath the output screen. So always use that. Don't close the browser. Now, in terms of that, there's a question asked earlier, and it's by Carmela. And I'm going to bring that question up on screen, and I'm going to read it. I had a guest the other night, and I could hear her perfectly, but she couldn't hear me. Is there a way I could send her a new link without scheduling another program? This is, it happens. every time I run a show on Thursday morning, which is Blabbing for Britain, which is at 5 a.m. Eastern, which basically, just waiting for Bridgetti. I run a show at 5 a.m. Eastern, and to go to Carmela's question, when John Upton joins me on screen before we go live, I can't hear him. Just can't hear him. First time he comes in, I can't hear him. He has to go out again and refresh and come back in. And 9 times out of 10, the act of refreshing the screen will allow you to hear each other. If you are the host and you have a problem where your guests can't hear you, then, as I did before the show today, the host has 2 options. As host, above me in the corner, that's good, I pointed in the right direction, is a green button. If I press that green button, I will go down into the lobby and then come back up and everything will be working. The other thing I can do is I can refresh. So if your guests cannot hear you, press the green button, go down in the lobby, sort out your microphone and video again, and then come back up. Now, talking of audio, welcome back, Bridgetti.
Thank you. I'm back.
And that's perfect.
My audio is better.
It is, yeah. It is better. We're good. And hopefully that will have that confirmed in a minute. So, Carmela, thank you for the question. There is only ever one link to send out, so you can't send her a new link because the link is relates to that show. So if your guest can't hear you, then press the green button, go down into the lobby, reconnect your camera and your microphone, come back up. If that doesn't work, press refresh. 99% of the time, fingers crossed, that will work perfectly. In fact, refresh is quite right, powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing to remember is resend a new link is because that show link is going to remain active until you end it. And you have to, remember there are 2 buttons, or you have to end it by pressing 2 times. So nothing's going to end that broadcast until you physically clicked it. There's no refresh button, Camilla. It literally is refreshing the browser, and that's it. There's no refresh button. So the way you would refresh anything else, browser, just refresh the browser itself.
Without you, and then you can come back. You're not stopping the broadcast by pressing refresh. Broadcast continues, and we did prove that one week, didn't we? Because I refreshed the browser and disappeared. I think given things at the moment, we'll resist the temptation to do that. But thank you, Carmela, for the question. And right, now, this is an interesting one. This is an interesting one. I have a friend who's been broadcasting quite a time, and he's a good lady wife. And he scheduled a broadcast, and he started the broadcast on time at 9:30. On his wife's computer, it was showing it's due to start at 10:30. Now, they're obviously in separate rooms because his wife was late to the broadcast because she didn't get a reminder because she got it scheduled on her computer for 10:30.
I think I understand what happened there, possibly.
Okay. Yeah.
It will take on the time zone that you have on your computer. You have possibly set your time zone. You may have traveled and you changed the time zone on your computer and forgot to change it back, because whichever time zone your computer is set on, that is what it will use. And therefore, if you or I create a broadcast, we create that broadcast in our local time. Whoever else sees that, wherever they may be in the rest of the world, see it in their local time.
Right, okay, and Drew's quite rightly commenting that no matter the reason, if it's his wife that's involved, he should take the blame for it, for his own safety. Wise advice, Drew. Oh dear.
Even that was a classic example of what I was trying to illustrate to you. So that was a fairly long comment. So when I saw the native comment in the production studio, half of that comment, in my view, until you highlighted that comment, then I could read the entire comment.
Right. I understand. Yes, I'm with you on that. Right, now the next one, people might wonder about, but it is Google Chrome updates, and we've got to give thanks to April, who is our watches what's happening on Chrome and always posts in BeLivers when there's been an update. It is, well, it's important, isn't it, to keep your browser up to date?
Yes, absolutely. It is good practice for sure.
Because every time that you come into BeLive are continually refining and improving the system. And every time you load a BeLive show to go live, you're actually loading the latest version of the software. You don't need to do anything. You'll always be using the latest version of BeLive. But unless you have your Chrome set to update automatically, you will not be using the latest version of Chrome. And the best way to avoid any problems at all is to make sure that your Chrome browser is up to date. Easy, simple, effective. I think not just about BeLive.tv, it's about other websites as well. Right, and then a point of information. There is now a BeLive FAQ, which has gone live. I'm going to place the link to an official BeLive FAQ, and that FAQ obviously is available to everybody and answers the most common questions, apart from the ones that you and I are answering today, hopefully. And the second thing is that, sorry.
No, I was saying it's a great go-to resource.
It is. And please check out the support page. Anyway, with that subtle hint, because this is not a marketing show, that subtle hint, we'll now move on to a bit of marketing. There's a new BeLive.tv show, which starts in about 10 days' time, which is Ross Brand and Rachel Moore, and it's a new show called The Best of BeLive, and it will feature you. And they've not yet announced the way you can be featured, but I'm sure that they will announce in BeLivers how you can be included and appear on the show. So watch out for that. Be ready to be interviewed and to promote your show on the BeLive.tv page, which is probably the best place to actually promote a show.
Excellent. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a brilliant show and be great for.
I think so too. They're a great team, and they know each other well, and they work together quite a bit. So it promises to be an excellent show. And okay, our next question. We'll just run for another 5 minutes or so, and this is and that's the official title. Thank you, Alfredo. Thank you for watching. It's the Ross Brand and Rachel Moore show with the best of BeLive.tv. Brilliant. Okay, and we've now got that on board. Okay, now the question that was asked, whilst I was live, it showed 15 participants. Afterwards, I saw that the video was shown 98 times. Would you like to take that, Bridgetti?
Yes, basically what happens is that people don't have to be watching the broadcast at the same. You will have an audience that's watching you actively, like we've now currently see we've got 4 people watching. But case in point, sorry, I'm looking the other way, right?
Okay.
If you look at the stats, I haven't refreshed the screen, but if you look at the stats to illustrate the point, I'm simply refreshing so that I make sure I've got the latest stats going here. Give me a moment. Let's have a look. So we've got 3 people actively watching right now. And if I look at the show on Facebook, we've reached 230 people and we've had 46 views. And I think that illustrates what happens here. So it's not people you will have people, because anyone who watches, I think it's 3 seconds, will be counted as a view. So you have people that may just have a quick look at the broadcast, but Facebook will count that as a view.
Indeed. And final question for today is there a way to edit BeLive vids? Well, BeLive recordings. What would be the best way to edit a recording? Because there's no Facebook editor, is there? You can't edit them on Facebook. You've got to actually download them.
Use an external, you have to download it. 3 seconds, Alfredo. After 3 seconds, it counts as a view.
Yeah, if you actually download it.
Any video editor of your choice. Once you've downloaded it, you can actually separate the audio and the video. So if you want to repurpose it and do a voiceover, you can. If you want to only use the audio, you can do that. But for now, there is no. I don't know. You know, Facebook's got so many things up, and they're big on video.
True.
Amounts of money. Video, so who knows? They may provide us with an editor. I don't know, but I wouldn't rule it out as a possibility. Yes.
Fingers crossed. Let's hope on that one. Now, we've enjoyed your company today. Thank you to everybody who's joined us. I think, should we say that we're going to do this? I don't think you schedule at the moment, do you? Your own shows.
I do some of them, but a lot of them are impromptu.
Yeah.
I think I sometimes, what I find challenging often is because of the internet connectivity issue. If you have to recreate the broadcast again. So I find it's much easier to have a show card, and if there is a technical glitch, I don't have to go through the whole drama of having, because it's timed out, because I think we need to remember that Facebook is 10 minutes.
It is a 10-minute limit,
if you're 1 second over the 10 minutes, you are really going to have to restart. It's not going to, 10 minutes, that's it. It's an absolute cutoff.
Yeah. So you'll see us again here next week, Bridgetti and I, at 12 p.m. Eastern, but we won't be scheduled. But we'll try and find you. If you can't find us, we're going to come looking for you, and we're going to invite you individually to next week's show. How's that? I don't know. You've got to have a sense of humor about these things. So, final point from Alfredo, and he said YouTube are actually discontinuing their editor, which is a bad move. We might talk about editors in a future show, because you're on Mac, yeah?
I am.
And I'm on Windows, so we can compare editors if you download the video and edit it. Alfredo, thank you for the comments, and you're quite right that there is no HD video from Facebook. There was, but there isn't. There is HD video available on YouTube, as we both know. And if you want to catch me over the weekend, I'll be on YouTube. Right, okay. Bridgetti. Well,
as always, it was fun.
Indeed. We've had some fun. We've had a lot of fun. We've hopefully answered some questions for you. If you need either of us, you'll find us in the BeLivers group. We wish you a safe weekend. Our thoughts, as Bridgetti said at the beginning of the show, are with those in Mexico and in the Bermuda Islands and in Florida, where we have many people who we know. We hope you stay safe over the weekend, and we look forward to seeing you and talking to you early next week. And Bridgetti would like to add your words, and then we'll close for today.
Everyone, from me, Bridgetti and Banda in Cape Town. And hunker down, those of you who are in Florida. We are thinking of, we hope that you'll come through this safely. Take care.
Take care. We'll see you again next week. Bye for now.